Hello everyone, my name is Chris and welcome to Winter Moon Games. Today I am excited to bring you the first episode of Friends of Gaming. I'm here with friends, Randy and Ellen Kirby, creators
Hello.
and hosts of We Game Together. How are you guys?
I am doing quite well. I won't speak for Ellen, but I'm pretty sure she's
I'm
doing good as well.
wonderfully, Chris. Thank you. And how are you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm quarantined.
Yeah.
I'm locked in my
Aren't
house.
we all? Yes.
And this is going to be the time that I use to get all my extracurricular creative content stuff done. So
Excellent.
I mean,
How
if
about-
anything, I hate to find a silver lining in a situation like this because how can you? It's scary. It's people are sick, but you do kind of look for silver linings and things in life, and we're kind of looking at this time in that way too. Like, let's try to pump out just like a bunch of content for people. So
why don't we just kind of kick it right off? And why don't you? I don't know how many people. I mean, you're obviously well known in the Dice Tower community on Facebook for your streams and whatnot. But who are you? Like, what? Tell us about yourselves. How did you guys meet? How long have you been married? That kind of thing.
you want to start?
Sure, baby.
I mean, this is how polite we always are to each other.
Oh my God, you start. No, oh my God, you start.
No, yeah.
We've been married for
12
years.
Okay.
And we known each other for quite a while before that, even through church.
Yes.
And her dad was a pastor at the church that my parents dragged me to.
My dad
tooth
loves
and
hearing
nail.
that.
Yeah, they pulled me out of the church that I was at, and I was around, I don't know, 16, 17 at the time. And they said, no, you have to go here because you live at our house.
Yeah, nothing better than making your kid, your 16-year-old go somewhere.
Right. So that was how I got there. And then we met and just were friends for the longest time. And actually, we hired Ellen at my company, and she was our receptionist. And we just kind of were friends. And then off and on, she hated me.
Yeah, I did. Sorry.
A lot at certain times.
Come on.
It's true. It's true. You hated me. You can't deny
We had a
it.
very rocky, kind of a weird friendship for a while. But it was all me. It was my fault. I was really kind of...
I'll agree with that statement. So, one day, Ellen was basically saying we should go out. So Ellen initiated it because I was scared out of my mind to do anything because of the roller coaster that she put me through.
I was like, come on.
Kind of like a dance monkey kind of a situation.
Yeah.
And we dated for about 3 weeks, and then she dumped me.
Oh.
Yeah, that was kind of harsh. So that
wasn't working out, guys.
Yeah.
It was really weird because we were really good friends, and anytime we went anywhere, you did not get in the front seat of his car. Like, everybody in the group knew that was my spot. Like, when we went somewhere, I was with Randy at all times. But then as soon as the label of dating was slapped on it, I just backed up. I was like, oh, I can't do this. So we dated. I broke up, and then 4 months later?
About 4 or 5 months later, we were kind of walking, and I'm thinking, hey, this is going pretty well. Maybe we'll get back together. Maybe we'll start dating again. And then we're walking along, and then Ellen asked me to marry her.
Yeah, he was taking too long.
Wow.
So I was like, what are we doing?
That's awesome.
Ray's like, what are we doing? And I'm like, well, I love you and I want to marry you. And he's like, what?
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you going to get on your knee? Is this like...
So we got engaged that night and got married about, 5 months or so later?
5 months later.
Yeah.
When you know, you know.
That's true. So. I feel like some of the... Oh, go on.
No, I was just saying we had known each other for so long. So
we saw the best and the worst. I mean, it's...
Already kind of went through all that.
Yeah.
I feel like some of the best, or the best relationships sort of start out with breakups, or we're not really sure about this person or whatever. And I'm glad you guys found your way back to each other. That's great.
Yeah, we sure did.
Yeah, it worked out quite well, I think.
So now here we are.
12 years.
Yeah.
12 years later, 4 kids. We have 4 boys.
Yep. Wow.
So there's a lot of testosterone in the house. Oh my gosh.
There is.
And you found your way to each other, obviously, and then to the gaming table. So were you always gamers, or did you kind of develop that passion together? Or
I would say that I have been. So my, she was definitely not.
That's interesting, because if I had to guess, I would have imagined that Ellen was pretty into games. The way the way you put yourself out there, right? Like,
because I'm a social person. So to me, I wanted to share my gaming experiences immediately with everybody. But he was the gamer first. Totally.
Yeah.
What did you used to
even
play?
growing up, I never got into the hobby games until maybe, I don't know, 5 years or so ago.
Yeah.
But I would play some of the mass market games that I would consider more of the I don't know, harder, I guess, mass
What's your
marketing,
one,
like
like
stock
stock?
market
Yeah, stock
game
market
and
game.
careers.
Yeah.
Games that actually had a little bit of like card manipulation
Right.
and dice manipulation a little bit, which I didn't know what any of that stuff was back then. But like Axis and Allies, which is not some advanced game, but it's kind of on that higher spectrum of your Target, Walmart
Yeah.
games, So I did that for a while, and then I got out of it for a long time. Played a lot of, went through the video game phase. And
Phase. Wow. What do you mean?
yeah, it's more of a
Y'all
phase
don't-
'cause I don't play much anymore.
Really?
'Cause yeah, it's,
Well, it's about time to
actually
wrap up
makes
this
me sad.
interview. Thank you
Yeah.
for your time.
You got a roast in the oven, huh? You gotta go.
but my favorite part of video gaming was like LAN parties. Everybody would get together in a big room and just yell at each other and play some Halo.
I never played video
Yeah.
games, but I would go to those, and that was I would just be like yelling too, but I'm not
Yep.
even playing. I'm just like.
And then I played a lot online too, quite a bit. And honestly, once we had kids, that's when it started tapering off. And I was kind of going back up because now obviously my kids are really into video games and things, so I'm kind of finding the time again because now we,
I
play with my
actually
kids.
want him to play games. This is not one of those situations because you hear a lot of stories of like, the wife will get angry because her husband just sits there all the time, and I hear that a lot, anyways.
Randy,
But
marry that girl.
I know. I'm telling you.
I love watching people play. Like, it's so fun to me. He started playing like the new Lara Croft game. I was so into that, and then you stopped. It was like a computer game.
I played most.
And
of it.
then you had Tales of Vesperia. I was
Tales
so
series,
into
yeah.
that storyline, and I want him to finish it because I want to watch the game.
Yeah, Final Fantasy, like those kind of like the
I need to know.
turn-based RPGs. That was my favorite kind of
Right.
stuff.
Cool.
Or like
well,
the Diablo or something, too. But anyway,
Yeah.
this is board games, right?
Yeah, sorry.
no,
Sorry.
it's all good. This, like I said, this is anything gaming. But so you were obviously pretty active though on social media, specifically the Dice Tower Facebook page, and before this whole We Game Together endeavor, right? So what
Right.
made you start to kind of want to be active on social media and
Well, first
put
of all,
yourselves out there?
I do want to answer one thing. You were just talking before about how we get into this. We actually on our honeymoon we played a game of foosball,
I won
and
the
it was
game.
so stop. Oh my gosh,
I won.
so okay. I'm way too competitive, and he beat me by a point, like from the very back of the board. I don't even know what it's called, the field, whatever. He scored, won by a point. I was so angry for like 5 hours
On the wrist.
on our honeymoon. And so I'm like, this is not healthy. We can't play things
This
against
is
each
not
other.
healthy.
And so, well, I just got into gaming like 4 years ago
Yeah, it's a
because
little bit
he would
there,
beg me to play, and I was just like, I can't. Like, this is not going to be good. I'm way too competitive. And we worked it out. Here we are today.
Yeah.
But as far as like social media goes, I actually did not get a Facebook account until we became photographers.
I kind of finally got Ellen to download it. Said, you should join the group. You should join the Dice Tower group. And she's like, I don't know. And once she was in, she was like,
Well, I looked at it like this way. A lot of the posts that I was seeing on the Dice Tower and just like online were cool. Like, it was a picture of a game, and that's cool, and I want to see what pieces look like. But I was noticing, I'm like, there's no people in this group, and I'm very social. I'm like, I'm not seeing smiles. I'm not seeing people and like the environment they're in. Where are they? Like, so when I started posting photos of us, it was like, selfie, and I totally got made fun of by a lot of people. But I was like, I don't care. Like, when you're scrolling through, you want to see people, and that's my take on it. And a lot of people gravitated towards that. And then it was like, what are the Kirbys up to? What are the Kirbys playing?
Right.
So it literally just started me posting selfies like from our kitchen. It was such
Yeah.
a not thing. It was just, it made me happy,
Yeah.
and so we went with it, and it
You know
just
what's-
kind of took off from there.
You know what's really funny is I have been a part of a bunch of groups, and I started seeing you guys post, and I think I thought like, wow, these are like celebrities, right? Like they're everywhere. And
No.
I remember my first Gen Con. I don't know if you guys remember this. You may or may not remember this.
Okay.
I was like kind of low key, creepily walking past you both while you were sitting there eating dinner.
actually, I think we first met at PAX, I think. Were you at PAX?
Was it PAX Unplugged?
That's
think it
the
was
one I
PAX.
keep thinking of. I think we
I
were
thought it was
sitting in
Gen
the
Con.
hallway on the carpeting.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
Was that PAX?
Yeah.
Maybe I had the
I think
wrong
That was
show.
PAX.
It was like after the show floor closed, like everyone's just,
Oh, really?
just like wrecked, right? And you're both sitting on the floor eating dinner, and I'm like, we kind of like caught eyes.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I know those people. And then I finally walked over and I was like, hi, I know you guys from somewhere, from Facebook Dice Tower. Like,
Yeah.
who are, like, I didn't really know who you were. I
Yeah.
just knew your faces.
Our
and
faces, yeah.
yeah, it was really
Our
funny.
faces,
And you guys were
selfies.
really cool about it. Gen Con was the church service on Sunday,
Yes.
which you
Yeah.
like worship
Uh-huh.
for.
Yeah, I definitely remember that.
And that was awesome.
Yeah, I loved being a part of that. That was
yeah.
so special.
Well, that's really funny. I just like I'm in my element when I'm at cons. I don't really
Oh,
walk up
sure.
to people and talk to them
Right.
anywhere except for
Oh,
conventions.
we're
Right.
so
So
honored
yeah,
that
no,
you
I'm
came to
glad
say
that we
hello.
made that connection and kept it going.
I mean,
So
conventions are so fun with just the people. That's
hmm
I mean, that's why we enjoy what we do,
Yeah.
what we're doing so much. It's just we just love talking to people.
Hmm.
talk about We Game Together. Like, why that versus what you were already doing? I mean, what made you take the leap to consistent live streaming and being,
Um, really quickly, do you remember when we were trying to come up with We Game Together and we had a different name? I think it was like Games Just Played is what we were gonna call it.
Uh,
It was we started
that was
doing
like a
board game
segment.
breakfast
Like
stuff.
that was more of a segment name, I
So, but
think.
that was like
Yeah.
something I really wanted to gravitate toward was that, and then
Yeah.
we switched to We Game Together like officially. I think it
Yeah, that
just
was
kind
like the
of
official
happened.
thing. That was just kind of a morphing of how we want to start doing
Yeah.
stuff. Ellen was actually the one that first brought up doing content, which I was like blown away by. You know, I knew she had done a lot of the social media stuff, and we were kind of active in that. But she's the one that actually wanted to do content, and I was like, really? I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I guess. I'm like, we're pretty busy. You know, we have four
like-
kids. We have
Why
a
not put
photography
on
business.
more?
I work full time on top of that
Yeah.
photography business, and
wow.
were we homeschooling at the time too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we don't homeschool currently, but we were homeschooling at the time
Well, we do
also,
now.
and it was so much stuff going on. So I'm like, all right, that sounds fine.
Yeah.
So we decided to do some stuff
And
for
you contacted
for
Tom, correct?
board game
Is that how
breakfast.
that
Yeah,
happened? Yeah.
yeah. So we sent like a video to Tom, and so we came up with a name and stuff, all that, kind of during that time.
Right.
So and then we
So
really only did that for what, maybe a year,
Hmm.
6 months to a year or so.
are you guys now like officially not working with Dice Tower, but kind of an affiliate of Dice Tower, if you will?
Yes, yes. So we're obviously still our own entity, right?
Mhm.
With We Game Together, we do our own content and our own YouTube channels and stuff. But
Yep.
we are actually doing specific content for Dice Tower for like reviews, and we just started doing some previews. So we'll take on, you know, Mark Street's kind of the main guy for doing previews on Dice Tower. We're now taking over some of his workload, so we'll be doing some more of that coming up here too.
Awesome.
And you know what? Tom Vassel's been amazing too. He wants us to feel like we can have our own thing. Like he
Mhm.
wants us to have We Game Together and to flourish and then thrive and do really well. So he's been really good about even just like sending us games to review and be like, hey, your schedule, you do what you would like to do, keep it, you know,
Yeah.
feeling like you guys. And so he's been super like hands off with that, which is actually amazing because when you have, you know, a 9 to 5 job, you're photographers, you're a mother, you're trying to do all this stuff, and then now you're doing board game content. It's nice for that he's been like, just whenever you can. It's been
Yeah,
so
no, it's been
nice.
super nice.
So,
I'm really glad to hear that. That's awesome. And
Yeah.
Tom is a great guy. He's always
Yeah, he's
so
super
helpful.
nice.
Yeah, he's a little bit
Yeah.
like I think is it safe to say that he's kind of like a shy guy? Like he's not one to like I don't know, initiate, but when you talk to him, he's always just so willing to
I
help and
think
I think his convention persona is
Yeah.
different than his in person.
absolutely.
interesting. Yeah.
I think. I mean, he's very much the same person. I'm not saying
Yeah,
that he's like a
It's
different
not like
person.
yeah.
But
I'm gonna
like,
edit this out of context so that you just like
That's
really
right.
offend him.
That's right.
Yeah.
Tom is so
Um,
different.
He's. I guess he operates different at cons. Maybe it's a better way
He's
of saying
trying
it.
to make sure everything is in order and perfect,
He's
and he
usually
cares
so
so
busy at
much.
these things.
Yeah, he's so busy and he cares so much that he's really like very focused.
Mhm.
And so that's kind of what you get at cons. But I've like sat there and shared a meal with him, and he's totally relaxed, totally
Oh, yeah.
chill, so nice.
Yeah, so how many unique games would you say you've played since we game together?
Oh man,
I would say I've
This is a
probably
Randy question, I have
played
no idea.
like 450, 500
Wow.
maybe unique games.
And how long has it been a thing now, like officially?
Well, I guess that's since that's not since we came together specifically, but that's since we started getting into it about 4.5 or so years
That's still a
ago.
lot though, but yeah. So
Yeah.
somewhere in the middle, right? What are
Yeah.
what are the games that you recommend or you just your go-to games for people who are new to the hobby? Like what do
Mhm.
you always make sure they play when
You know,
they come
I've been
over here?
caught off guard by this question a couple of times,
Yes,
and like
you have, sir.
people have asked me before, and I like draw a blank, and I'm like, why? Why am I
Why,
drawing a blank?
I've done that too. Why is this
But
always
honestly, the one that I probably recommend pretty often is actually Lanterns: The Harvest Festival.
Really?
I don't know why. It's a game
Wow.
that I've liked quite a bit, and it's super easy. Plus, I just think it's a good game that you place that tile down and everybody gets to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like a lot of people enjoy that, especially newer players.
Yep.
So it's giving you something to do turn to turn. Because a lot of times new players don't have the attention span. A lot of times you're just kind of casually looking for a game. So this one kind of has that, quite a bit of player interaction because I don't want to give him a red card because that'll give him the ability to, cash that in for a tile.
Do you have one, Ellen? Do you have one that you like to play?
Absolutely.
I know what it is.
Wait.
Century Spice.
Yes.
Century
Gosh,
Spice.
we should get married. Century Spice Road. I love that game so much. It is so easy to teach. It is so easy to learn.
Did you guys recently play that on your show?
We did a live stream of it.
That's right.
Mixed up with a new world. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Century
Spice and New World.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the combo of 1 and 3, I adore.
That's great.
Oh my goodness,
Really
I just
good.
love that so much. I don't recommend that to like gateway gamers, but definitely the first one, Century Spice Road, is just so good. I feel like I've taught it numerous times. People pick it right up who have never like gamed ever. And it's just pretty and it's relaxing.
Why, in your opinion, is it important to consistently have gaming part of your life to the point where you're now making time with all the things you're juggling? You're doing renovations, like the basement you're in.
Yes.
I believe you guys set up for this, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And all the other things you're doing. Why would anyone, like, you must get crazy looks from some of your adult,
Yeah.
peers, right?
Yeah.
Sure. Oh,
Faux
sure.
show.
Honestly, our generation, I'm 35, it's becoming more and more, open to gaming in general.
Cool, even I would
And I
say.
think honestly, video games helps that a lot because video games has become much more mainstream, and I think just by association, board games has kind of made that leap also.
Yeah.
So we don't have a ton of people that looked at us super strange. They're like, oh, more of like
What do you mean?
very inquisitive
Like
kind of like
Monopoly?
interesting.
Yeah.
That question, always that question.
You know?
But okay, it's so important to carve this time out for the reason everybody's thinking right now. You have to slow down and you have to have moments with just phones off, screens away, and just interacting with people. And the reason I got into the hobby, it wasn't because of a game. I mean, Castles of Burgundy is my all-time favorite, and it did get me into the hobby. But I didn't play a game and like, yes, I love this. I played so many games with this man, and I wanted to quit. Like, I would actually end the night in tears because I lost so hard. I didn't understand why. I didn't have a gaming head on my shoulder, so I didn't understand like how things worked with each other. But he put it to me as, I just want to hang out with you. And it was to the point, I mean, we were married, at the time, 9 years, something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying our relationship was bad, but I had babies like right away. So he would get home from work and I would be feeding the babies. And then, we put them to bed and we were so tired, we would just crash on the couch and watch TV for the rest of the night. And that was our lives for years. There is nothing wrong with that. Okay. I love to lay on the couch and watch TV, but it got to the point where he's like, I want to bond with you and it's something that we can share together. That's just unique and different. And this is a way for us to hang out without leaving the house. Cause we can't, we have kids. Like we can't just get up and go somewhere every night. So when he put it to me like that of, I want to hang out with you, that was really special and like totally hit me. And I was not expecting that. And so from that little seed, here's all of this.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
My wife and I have been married for 10 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like I should say congratulations.
Oh, yeah, all right.
Newlyweds.
Are you within a year? Still a congratulations
Yeah,
period.
exactly.
I guess, yeah. I'll wait for the check too, but no, like we're in that phase where you just explain. We're like, we come home. She's a therapist. I'm a videographer, but we just crash and we play games.
Yeah.
She's a gamer, and I just feel like that's so important. I love what you said about that whole bonding thing. Like that's really cool.
Yeah.
So I might steal your quote
Sure.
and use
Steal
it
it.
like it's my own and see if I can win her
Well, I've
over.
had people
Do it.
ask us questions like this. How do you why and how do you find the time? And I'm like, you make time for things that are important to you, and hanging out with Randy was important to me. Even if I ended the night ticked because I lost and I felt dumb because I didn't really understand, like whatever, we hung out and like mission accomplished. And
We'll have to play some games and see if I can get a little dose of this competitive side of you.
I don't know if you can
Ellen
handle
is
it.
very, very competitive.
It's
Go on,
bad.
Randy. You were going to say
It's-
something though?
Oh, it's just, I mean, it's just that direct interaction that's my favorite part of board gaming. It's just, you're sitting there, there's not really distractions. I'm not one to say no phones at the table, but be part of the moment when you're playing or when you're watching, say, movies, you're so focused on what's going on the TV. It's like, you'll kind of laugh together, or you say, oh, yeah, you see that part, or you'll laugh at something, or, oh, that's interesting. But that interaction is just not really there. It's kind of like a side thought. And that's just my favorite part of
even like the downtime
games.
in between turns, you find yourself, chit-chatting with the person next to you. I have met some of the most beautiful people, like opening our house to just people in the area who wanted to game. And I was really nervous about doing that because this is like my safe haven. It's my home, having strangers into my house to play games. But it ended up just being a huge blessing, and I've met some amazing people, and you talk and you hang out, and board gaming is already such a unique experience. So when you bond in that way over like with people, there's a connection that happens. It's very unique. It's very special. So
Agreed.
It's important to us to make that time.
Oh yeah.
You may have already talked about this a little bit, but I'm curious, like, maybe not just specifically as a married couple, because you've kind of talked about kids and juggling all those things, but what has been the biggest challenge to remaining consistent? And you've both expressed how important this is to you, and I completely agree, and I think more families need to game together. But like, what are some of the challenges you face, and what would you recommend to people that maybe don't know how to overcome those challenges, or just accept the fact that, like, I'm tired, my kids are cranky, and I just need to go to bed? Like, what would you say to them?
I'm found this out about myself. I'm generally a lazy person. Like,
guilty.
I found that out about yourself.
Like, if you look at my life, I don't think that I would be classified as lazy. I don't think I'm lazy. I don't think I live my life lazily. But if I default to laziness, if I don't really have to do something, if I don't have pressure to do something, I'll generally not do it. So having this is actually giving me a little bit of a focus, I guess, but just there's some days, you get home from work and it's a long day and you're like, oh, we gotta do a couple of videos tonight, and you get that feeling, but just pushing through that. And it's because you get the reward later, right? You get rewarded with people like, oh, I liked your video. It's like, oh, that's cool. That's what kind of keeps us going is that.
It really is pushing through that fatigue that, you get to a point, your limits when you're like, oh, I got to crash tonight. Like, that aside, when you get that feeling of like, oh, we got to do this now, the reward is coming and it feels so good. I was actually just talking with a friend today about just organizing, because we've been, like I said, doing our house and we fixed the space up and all that. And it was so exhausting and overwhelming to think we got to go down there and do that and work on that. But if you even just take a tiny step towards it, whether that just be like writing a list or doing one small thing, that was a step that you took towards that thing. And a lot of times I find that if I just do that, I start gaining momentum and I start feeling the reward. And it's almost like when you're working out and the endorphins kick in. It's that kind of oh my gosh, the creativity is actually really rewarding and fun right now. So I would say try to push past that and just that little fatigue in the beginning.
Advice-wise for me, what helped me the most of just kind of being consistent was for instance, we do like live streaming on Mondays. We stream a game like just about every Monday. And having that like on the schedule, and once I get into a routine, I'll do it forever. But getting into a routine is the hardest thing for me. So for me, it was just pushing through, getting to like a routine, and then just doing it. And that's
actually physically putting it on a calendar, getting things done like this.
Right, actually scheduling.
And even
something.
like we even on our calendar have family game night. Like we literally have it written out.
Awesome.
Play a game with the kids. Here's the time. Right. It doesn't always happen, but it's there.
In closing, I appreciate you guys answering all these questions and for being here today.
Love it.
Talk a little bit about the future, if you can, of We Game Together. What can people look forward to? What kind of new things are you going to roll out, if any? And maybe just at the end, tell about how people can find you and how they can get more involved or whatever.
Sure. I want to do more top 10s because that's one of my favorite things in life is top 10s.
Oh my gosh, that was so much passion.
Ranking things. When Tom talks about how much he enjoys like ranking stuff,
that's hilarious.
I'm right there. I love ranking things, figuring out what the best is.
I've never heard you articulate it like that. That's great.
Yeah, I love that the most, and people love top 10s. What was it? Top 10s, and what was the other thing? That's like the two unboxings. Unboxings and top 10s are the two most watched things on YouTube.
Funny. Yeah.
Very
so we'd love to do unboxings. I love opening stuff and like smelling the fresh cards and like looking at the I just love it.
Top
That's so
10, so
fun.
that's where it's at for me.
Yeah, top
So
tens.
we're going to be doing, I think, more of those in general. I think we're going to start trying to schedule those out fairly regularly.
Yep.
But then we're going to be doing more reviews here and there. Reviews are lengthy; they take a lot of time.
Yeah, they do.
So I don't think we're going to like focus on that as like our main deal. I kind of prefer the more
like
the stuff that's
candid or
like
something?
that's more open, just regular kind of talking with people, interacting with people. So more live streaming type stuff. That's what we're going to definitely focus on in general moving forward.
Well, and especially in this time of like quarantine that we're in, we're like, we should take advantage of this and just live stream. We absolutely love that. We thrive in that. I love talking to people. So yeah, just look for top, tens and top. We have our top 20 games of all time coming out soon.
We've had it written out for like, I don't know, 3 or 4 months now, and we just have not had a chance to actually get to it.
Yeah. So how can people find you, and how can they reach out to you?
Yeah, so we do have a YouTube channel, We Game Together. We do live streaming on Mondays at 8:30 Central Time, and we simulcast that with Facebook if you're actually friends with Ellen, and Ellen accepts most people. If not all of them, I'm not sure.
I check you first.
But then we're also on YouTube and Twitch at the same time. So all 3 of those platforms get streamed at the same time when we're playing on Mondays.
Awesome.
But that and Instagram, we have a pretty big Instagram following, or relatively big, I guess.
That's
Instagram
we
following.
Game Together too.
And that's a lot of just what are we playing today, or what are we going to play type thing. So that's kind of where you get your more immediate updates from us is Instagram.
Awesome. Well, I'd like to thank you guys for being here today. I really appreciate it. You were the
thank you for
first,
having
the debut episode of this Friends of Gaming. I have Randy and Ellen Kirby from creators and hosts of We Game Together. Check them out. Your links will be in the description of the video. If you'd like
this?
Yeah, well, down below. If you'd like to check out more Winter Moon Games content, you can do that at wintermoongames.com/content. We're also on your social media platform of choice: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. So go check out Winter Moon Games there as well. Again, thank you both for joining me, and we'll see you next time.